When one side only of a story is heard and often repeated, the human mind becomes impressed with it, insensibly. Having now finished the work assigned me, I retire from the great theater of action. A people unused to restraint must be led. They will not be drove. Arbitrary power is most easily established on the ruins of liberty abused to licentiousness. All see and most admire the glare which hovers round the external trappings of elevated office. To me there is nothing in it beyond the luster which may be reflected from its connection with a power. Remember that it is the actions, and not the commission, that make the officer, and that there is more expected from him than the title. I have diligently sought the public welfare, and have endeavored to inculcate the same principles in all that are under me. These reflections will be a cordial to my mind, as long as I am able to distinguish. I shall make it the most agreeable part of my duty to study merit, and reward the brave and deserving. We should never despair. Our situation before has been unpromising, and has changed for the better, so I trust it will again. If new difficulties arise, we must only put forth new exertions and proportion. Associate with men of good quality, if you esteem your own reputation, for it is better to be alone than in bad company. Discipline is the soul of an army. It makes small numbers formidable, procures success to the weak, and esteem to all. Friendship is a plant of slow growth, and must undergo and withstand the shocks of adversity before it is entitled to the appellation. It is better to offer no excuse than a bad one. Be courteous to all, but intimate with few, and let those few be well tried before you give them your confidence. Nothing can be more hurtful to the service than the neglect of discipline, for that discipline, more than numbers, gives one army the superiority over another. Truth will ultimately prevail where there is pains to bring it to light. We should not look back unless it is to derive useful lessons from past errors and for the purpose of profiting by dearly bought experience. Worry is the interest paid by those who borrow trouble. I hope I shall possess firmness and virtue enough to maintain what I consider the most enviable of all titles, the character of an honest man. But lest some unlucky event should happen unfavorable to my reputation, I beg it may be remembered by every gentleman in the room that I, this day, declare with the utmost sincerity, I do not think myself equal to the command I am honored with. Observe good faith and justice toward all nations. Cultivate peace and harmony with all. Happiness depends more upon the internal frame of a person's own mind than on the externals in the world. Government is not reason and it is not eloquence. It is force. Like fire, it is a dangerous servant and a fearful master. Never for a moment should it be left to irresponsible action. To encourage literature and the arts is a duty which every good citizen owes to his country. A man's intentions should be allowed, in some respects, to plead for his actions. Strive not with your superiors in argument, but always submit your judgment to others with modesty. I shall not be deprived of a comfort, in the worst event, if I retain a consciousness of having acted to the best of my judgment. Individuals entering into society must give up a share of liberty to preserve the rest. 99% of failures come from people who make excuses. A man ought not to value himself of his achievements or rare qualities of wit, much less of his riches, virtue, or kindred. Remember that it is the actions and not the commission that make the officer, and that there is more expected from him than the title. The great mass of our citizens require only to understand matters rightly, to form right decisions. A person who is anxious to be a leader of the fashion, or one of the first to follow it, will certainly appear in the eyes of judicious men to have nothing better than a frequent change of dress to recommend him to notice. How far you go in life depends on your being tender with the young, compassionate with the aged, sympathetic with the striving, and tolerant of the weak and the strong, because someday in life you will have been all of these. It is absolutely necessary for me to have persons that can think for me as well as execute orders.